Hello guys, my name is Deniz Çağlayan and for today I choose an exercise from the Body Mass Index program from Person. Basically, it wants us to create a Body Mass Index calculator. Let me read the exercise for shortly. Basically, we were asked to create an app that calculates person's body mass index. Recall from the exercise that the BMI is often used to determine whether a person is overweight or underweight for his or her height. And this is the formula we will use. The basic mathematical formula is weight will be multiplied by 703 and it's divided to 8 square. After we create the mathematical part, also the exercise wants us to create to determine person has optimal weight or is underweight or is overweight. And these are some ranges. Also we need to put the body conditions. To solve this problem easily, I separate the solution into parts. The first is the math part and the second is the logical part. In the math part, we need to create a formula into the app. This is our formula I said before. And the second part is the logical problem. We will use if, as, then function into our app. And we connect the results from the mathematical part to the logical part to say body index is optimal, underweight or the overweight. Basically the body index, if optimal, the found index is in the range 18.5 or equal, or lower and equal than 25. For index is underweight, index is lower than 18.5 and upper than 25 index means the person is overweight. Now let's create our app. I already create the designer part here. Let me show you my projects. This is the BMI Body Mass Index app I create, and I create the designer parts. I will also talk about those components too. And I start with the screen. The screen, I change the screen text in here. I named BMI app to make it more understandable for its obtained reason. After I add a wallpaper Patrick Star, because I think it's funny we create body mass index and the Patrick Star is fat character from SpongeBob series. I put these components into the center and the bottom in the screen. Then I create my components from the user interface and the layout parts. The first is the Patrick, because it's a headline and it's about Patrick. Are you as fat as Patrick? It's basically the headline of the app. And the second is also a label component. Calculate your body mass index. You can see the green part is so big because I create the height from here to 320 pixels. If you make it automatic, it's just a one line. And you can also see the screen. I put these components also the bottom side. I create the head of the head label to 320 to create a height to put those labels up the Patrick and the other components of the app is under the Patrick. For just now, I'm going automatic to show you other components. This is the other component needed elements. It is in the layout part, the table arrangement. It creates a table which columns 2 and 2 rows. It is being 2 columns and 2 rows. We have 2 labels and 2 text boxes inside the table arrangements. These labels represent what we need to write in the text box, your weight, and you need to write your weight next text box, and your height, you need to write your height next text box. I put them as simple names for weight for the weight text box and height for the height text box. Then I create a button. Button is important component because the whole process is under the button into the blocks part. When we click the button, the whole process will run. I say basically calculate, I change the text. I make it bold and italic. And here is the other text. I rename the component name results because it is the result of the mathematical calculation. This result, the index we found, is shown in the result text box. And what about our text variable like optimal, underweight, or overweight? I will connect those informations into our head label. So the calculate your body mass index text will turn to you have an optimal weight or you are an underweight. Now let's move the blocks parts. Firstly, I said we need the button component. This is the basic component. We create all functions into the button, and when we click the button, its name is the button is click, by the way. When we click the click, it will do something we want. So firstly we need to create our math problem part so we can get the results and determine the index condition like optimal, underweight, or overweight. But here is an important thing about the formula. I actually don't understand the formula is against the mathematical precedence or not. So I just change the formula. I will put parentheses here and here to close parentheses and add another parenthesis between division to help us to understand precedence in math. I will create my mathematical formula in this way because it's important which calculation is first to find true results in math. And do you realize those processes inside of our main function? The mathematical part is the sum function in the main function. So we also create another function to support the main function to decide a body condition. We need to create a variables to determine our sub functions. I will go with initialize a local block into the button component. In here, you need to create your name. But before create our name, I will add another name part, because I think we have two different variables in here. This part is one variable, and this part is the second variable. So basically I can say my new variable w which includes the and the other variable is height, which will also include the typically your function to work is create the initialization process with 0. I will add 0 and I will explain why we put 0 to start of our process. It's basically, you can think it is like a calculator. Before to calculate something in calculator, you will see the 0 on screens, because the numbers have an infinity, both negative and positive sides. Basically, we put a start line into 0 on the number line. So our process will start with the 0, and the findings, those variables, we will use those variables to find something, and it will put into the 0 in addition. Now I initialize the local v variable to 0 and h variable to 0. After, I need the set. I will duplicate it because I have two variables, w and h. Now, the w variable, we need to do a weight multiplied by 703, and for height variable we will set a function height square. So it's in the math part, because it's a mathematical problem. We will put this, I will duplicate it here and here. In math, we need this. It's 703 multiplied in the set w variable. So what is our inside variable? We will write the multiplied variable into the text box. So we need to find our weight text box and choose the right function. It is a computable function, so we'll need to look at the light greens. This one, the weight text. First duplicate it, weight text, and you can change the component name from height text. Weight text multiplied by 703 is what exactly is here. So duplicate it here, and height multiplied by itself means height square. After we create it, we need to find their division. So we need to add a division too. It will show in the text box. I mean the results component, which is a text box. So we will move the text component, result component, set text to inside of the component, inside of the whole initialization process. So we will calculate W variable with the multiplication function and the H variable with the multiplication function, and those will divided and set into the result text in the end. So we need to add a math function, division, here. Now, we need to add weight variable and height variable here. For this, go to variables, 2 times get, put them, so you will get the W variable and H variables. We need to divide W to H variables. So basically, we create a sub-function into the main function. The subside, we will create a mathematical formula and calculate some numbers. And it will connect it with our other function if-else functions. So, firstly, I would like to say, because it's a division, for the protect from the decimal round mistakes, we need to add format as decimal number. And we need to calculate as multiplication by 10. Actually, I made up this multiplied by 10 for my mind because in here I create our function with red parentheses again to follow the rule of mathematical precedence. I actually don't know, maybe we need to divide 703 into the 8 square, then we need to multiply it with weight. But I think we should multiply it with weight after we need to divide it to 8 square. So it probably creates a round mistake. I just want to prevent any kind of mistakes. I multiplied it with 10 and put our division into the math function and in the format as decimal number places. For the decimal number decision, it's because basically they are numbers. So index, maybe it will be, let's say our index is 8520. If we create our decimal, we can see it is bigger than 18.5 because 18.5 means it is also 18.50. And for the precaution, I also add those strings to create more true results. I will create a 3. It will show 3 decimals after the point. after the dot, I mean. So we finished our math problem. We will start our logical problem. So we need to create three basic parts: optimal, underweight, and overweight. Let's go to our app inventor and click the control. We need to use if then else. We have if as something we will read is happen, it will then set something. But if it is not compatible what we want from the if part, else we will write something else. And step by step for the optimal, let's start with the optimal. We will create a range for index between 18.5 and 25. And we will go to logic parts and put not this one, this one. We will find the AND function. It's also the OR function. In here we have a certain range between 18.5 and 25. So the first is go to math function, duplicate it. You can change your inequalities from math, but in logic also you can see the same sign, but it will not compatible what we need. So delete it. And change it to them. Add those determined numbers. 18.5 lower, it is the lower one, it is here, so the number is upper or equal 18.5 or lower than 25. And this is our result. Finally, we found an index in the result text box. So we need to add the results text into the functions. Then, now we need to set something. Then, in here, to calculate your body mass index will turn your BMI is something. So it's head. Go to head labels, set text. We need to write the text and new text. It's the upper element. Write your BMI, body mass index, is an, let's check what is optimal, is an optimal. Your BMI is an optimal. Now, the two other logic parts are left behind. So we need to put another if-else function into the if-else function to create more logical parts. If then, also you can add else from here. If For underweight, index lower than 18.5. Go to math, put this, duplicate it. If I will duplicate it here, lower, what is lower? Duplicate it, I also put this here. If the result we found is lower than 18.5, it will set a head label to your BMI is an underweight. And for the else, for the control, if then, no need. I already created here. Upper. If the result is upper than 25, then it will set to your IBM is overweight. Okay. Let me check these indexes. Weights. Yes, I think it is finished. And now I will just check our app with the connect my application. I'm scanning. Again, I'm scanning. Okay, I check my internet connection. It's about I lose my connection with my laptop. So I connect with AI companion. It looks like this right now. Now I will fix the head label 8 from 320. It's OK, and it will look like this. Now I'm writing my own weight and height, but 59 is my weight, and 1 meter and 72 centimeters is my height. Now let's check the calculate. My index is 14 with 0.2, and your BMI is optimal right here. For this I will change from here to reset all components. I will check it again. You can see to calculate your body mass index under the are you as fat as Patrick and other components. My weight is 59 and my height is 1 meter and 2 centimeters, like this. When I calculate, my index is 14 with 0.2, and the BMI, it shows I'm an optimal.